departed. Despite the challenges LA will face this season, McVay feeling rejuvenated.
You know what's cool is being around this group, and especially even last year, it feels like it's year one again. And I really mean that. I feel like these last couple of years, there's really just been a real renewed purpose and perspective that reminds you of what a blessing this is.
I like that.
McVay looks like he's working out with you there. You see the pipes on that guy?
Guys, he's just putting in the time.
Yeah,
you get older, you got to put in the time.
Getting older? Is he even 40 yet? Gosh.
Yeah, what is he, 38? I don't know. No, I think he is the great culture builder in the league. I think, Shanahan is more considered. We think of Shanahan, we think of that play sheet. And I think McVay, we think about his energy and the culture building. LaFleur, I think about LaFleur. I think about him developing young players. Green Bay's very young. I think they all have strengths. I don't know if any of them has a weakness, but McVay, he is 38 years old. Yeah. So, LA got really lucky. Football comes back to LA, and you get your coach is Sean McVay. Let me tell you something, that he is, if he spent another 12 years here, there's a lot of that's gone right in Los Angeles. SoFi Stadium's unbelievable. Yeah. Jared Goff is a great first quarterback into Matt Stafford. Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay, Aaron Donald. Like a lot of times you'll see like expansion teams and they just can't get the coach right or the quarterback right. One thing this franchise, since they really became the LA Rams, coach, quarterback, they've been A.
I know you're big on the defense and the offensive line. I think the steal of the draft could be Blake Corum out of Michigan. Loved him, and I know the Chargers wanted him badly. It's a great get for McVay and the Rams. Next up, let's talk about Amari Cooper's holdout. He wants a long-term deal. Listen, last summer it was the running back issues everywhere. Now it's the wide receiver issues everywhere. GM Andrew Berry of Cleveland didn't comment on their negotiations with Amari Cooper, but spoke to what he means to the team.
What I will say about Amari, though, is since he's been a member of the Cleveland Browns, he's obviously been a high-level Pro Bowl caliber receiver, but he's also a great teammate, and he's a great professional. And we're happy to have him as a member of the organization. All teams will have periods where they go through these type of situations, but it does not change our affinity for Amari. We'll navigate, call it the business considerations and the business aspects as it goes. But he is a big part of our team, and just as importantly, he's a big part of our culture.
Yeah, he's a pro, and that's what I like about him. He's a professional, on the field, off, highly productive. I still think Dallas made a mistake getting rid of him. I thought Dak pulled back. They paid Zeke early. I thought they should have never let go of Amari Cooper. How good would Dallas be if they had CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper?
How about Judy and Cooper once they get this deal worked out? I'm telling you,
I'm not a Jerry Judy
fan. Yeah, I know
fan.
You're not. We'll see what happens. Final story is, speaking of wide receiver holdouts, T. Higgins had skipped all of mandatory minicamp, but finally signed his franchise tag and is expected to attend training camp in late July. So a win for the Bungles. Nice get with T. Higgins on board for at least one more season, right?
Yeah, that's why they created the franchise tag.
I don't love it.
Well, you don't have to love it.
I like player mobility. I'm rooting for the players. You root for the owners.
I root for stability and financial prudence. You root for everybody gets the bag.
I want those guys to get paid. They put their lives on the line.
I'm not against the greats getting paid, and even quarterbacks who are great being paid early. You are ice cream for breakfast, Dad. Everybody gets a scoop of chocolate chip ice cream every morning.
That is me.
Marshmallow flavoring and sprinkles, and then they have to go to the dentist.
My bill comes due, baby.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Don't you guys have a salary cap at home? I guarantee you your wife's running the finances. No. Yeah, I bet she is.
He absolutely does not, no. Seek their first ever Copa America title. It all kicks off with the USA taking on Bolivia Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
I will be watching. Copa America is a great tournament. It's important for America. All the Greg Berhalter critics, very important, have to play well. Big draw with Brazil. So, I was thinking about this. Brandon Ayuk is a very talented wide receiver for San Francisco. I think he's a brilliant player. But I don't feel like he's the soul of the team like I do more Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. I think it's a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase team. Or Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. I think it's a Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson team. Brandon Ayuk's really, really talented. But the Niners drafted 2 wide receivers for a reason. The 4 or 5 elements, and he wants a contract now, and he's got a year left on his deal. The 4 or 5 elements of San Francisco's success. Number 1, Kyle Shanahan's offense. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey's legs. Number 3, Bosa's relentless pass rush. And number 4, Brock Purdy's efficiency. If I had to go to a number 5, it would be Trent Williams' protection, which when he plays, they win. When he doesn't, they win less frequently. Brandon Ayuk playing is not tied to winning or losing. Debo's more versatile. George Kittle's more a part of sort of their cultural fit. Ayuk is none of those. He's just really, really talented, and he wants a contract a year early. And he's been going on social. How important are you to the infrastructure of the company you work? It's not about just talent. You know, you're not, if you go to the playoffs for Brandon Ayuk, in 3 games, he had 1 touchdown. In 3 games, he had 149 yards. He's a piece, but he's not as versatile as Debo. He's not the tough cultural fit of Kittle. He's not the brain power of Kyle Shanahan building the architect of the offense, or McCaffrey's versatility or run game. He doesn't rush the passer or protect the quarterback. At some point, this idea that you have to pay every athlete early. Yes, I would rather get my quarterback paid, get a slightly team-friendly deal. That's kind of the feeling if you pay him a little early, like a Herbert or a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen. Can we pay him maybe a year early and get a little bit of a break on the back end? Whether you do or not, I understand the theory of it. But the one position in the NFL that just ask yourself, for your star player, is he vital? Is he the soul of the team? I think Jamar Chase and Burrow are the Bengals. I think the coach is good but could be replaced if they found another smart offensive guy, and I like Zach Taylor. The edge rusher's good, but again, you could find edge rushers. There are receivers that are, you go back to the Niners, it always felt like Montana and Rice to me. That's what it always felt like. Brady, it didn't feel that way as much. It felt like Belichick's defensive brain power and Brady's efficiency. That's what it felt like. Now, there was Gronk and Edelman that were incredibly valuable pieces. But there was Welker before Edelman. And then Tom left and won with a Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. But Brandon Ayuk, somebody needs to tell him, if you look at the cultural fit, the production in big games, the infrastructure, he's a really talented player. I wouldn't pay him a year early. I wouldn't. Here's the other thing. People were, the minute a team wins a championship, there is this sense of, like with the Boston Celtics this morning, like we did this last year with the Denver Nuggets. We said with the Denver Nuggets, and I said, I thought they had a feeling of kind of the Tim Duncan Spurs, where they may not be a back-to-back champion, but you could see Denver in 5 years winning 2 or 3 titles. Good coach, great star, nice pieces, good culture. Denver even this year looked like they had a chance to go to the finals, and then they blew a 20-point lead in Game 7 against Minnesota, right? So it didn't work out. It is very hard. The NFL's never had a back-to-back-to-back champion, ever. And I grew up with the Steelers. It's hard to believe they didn't. They were that physically dominating. It's hard to believe the Patriots didn't. Best coach, best quarterback for a long period. Kansas City may this year, although I wouldn't bet on it. But in the NBA, we kind of look at if you can go back-to-back. We kind of suspect it's a smaller roster. If you got the guys, you can go back-to-back. I'll tell you a really important part of Boston becoming a potential dynasty. It's not Tatum or Brown. It's not Joe Mazzulla. It's Derek White. Porzingis, you can't trust his health. Drew Holiday and Horford just getting older. Tatum and Brown are going nowhere. But they didn't win before all these additional pieces. The hallmark of this team, the soul of it, is their depth. And now Tatum's going to get a max deal. So you're going to have Jalen